Hello there and welcome to today's video. It's been a while since I made a polymer clay tutorial and I saw these super pretty poppies on a walk the other day, so I thought I'd try and make one today along with a poppy seed pod. I'm going to be making this one up as I go along, so it might not be the best rendered at the end, but we'll see how I get on. So to start, I need to make some stalks, so I've got a very basic bamboo stick here and I'm just going to cut that into two, like so. And I'm going to scuff the ends up with my scissors here, just to try and encourage the polymer clay to stick to the woods after baking. And of course, when you're using scissors, just need to be a little bit careful. And I'm going to add some old polymer clay just to the ends to give the poppy and the pod something to stick to. So I'm just going to make some very basic shapes like so. And now I need to bake my stalks, so I'm just going to pop these off to the oven. And at this point you'll need to refer to your own brand of polymer clay's baking instructions. I'm going to start by making the poppy, so I've got some black polymer clay here, so just trying to basically mould that over the base. And I've got a little ball of a green clay here, so I'll pop that on. And I'll make a series of little lines, oops, just to go onto my poppy, like so. And just keep going round. And the last one. And I'll just pop a stretch of black clay just around the centre. I think this is an Oriental Poppy I'm making. It's quite a large poppy, but I'm no way an expert on flowers, so if I'm wrong, let me know below. So I just need to create a load of little balls of clay, basically, like so. And there's my first layer done. And I'm just going to make a second layer, like so. And again, I'm just going to keep going round. I have made a fair few flowers now with polymer clay, so I'll leave my playlist link below. So if you fancy making some more, that's the place for you. So I just want to remove a bit of the excess clay here because I'm trying to make the piece as light as possible really, and it should create a better shape for the poppy head as well. So I need to move on to the petals now, and I use a pasta machine to ensure that my clay is nice and flat, but you can also do that with an acrylic roller. It's just really trying to ensure that they're all of the same kind of thickness really. And to ensure that my petals are super neat, I'll just go around with a wet wipe, like so. And with my little fondant tool here, it doesn't actually matter what shape you use. I just want to create some little black sections, like so. And you don't have to do this, you could just go for, straight up red petals if you wanted to. I'm just trying to coax that clay together with my roller, and I'll just lift that off the surface like so. And I want to create just some basically detail or texture in my petal, so I'll just spend a little bit of time just adding some kind of waves or definition to that. And then I'll start attaching them to the centerpiece. And I'll add the second petal to my poppy, like so. And here's the third. And I think in hindsight, if I were to remake a poppy, I'd really try and add 4 main petals to the centre, but I kind of just was making it up as I was going along basically. So my first layer's all done, and now I'm just going to add a few more petals. I think there were 3 in the ends that are just a solid red colour. So I'll just add the third petal. And I'll use a wet wipe just to really try and coax that onto the stalk, like so. And my poppy is pretty much all done. I'm just going to spend a few moments just to ensure that I'm happy with the petal shapes. So now I'm going to move on to my poppy seed pods, and I think that's what it's called. Let me know if I'm wrong down below, but basically I just need to wrap around some foil onto my base to create a nice little base for my pod essentially. So I'm just trying to make that as flat as I can essentially. Before I just wrap around some spare clay, basically I'm just using the reds that I used for my poppy here, and just trying to kind of make that as flat as possible really. So I'll just roll that on my surface like so. And once I'm happy with that, I'm just going to wrap around some green clay for my pods. Just really trying to ensure that it's as neat as possible, so I'll just use a wet wipe here as well. And incidentally, if you do get any air bubbles, what I do is basically just to stab it with my needle tool like so, just to release that air. And then you can basically just smooth over with either your finger or a wet wipe. So I want to make some indentations in my pods, so I'll use my needle tool like so. Just from top to bottom. And to add a bit more definition, I'm just going to go in with my small ball tool here. And I need to remember not to go too deep because I don't want to hit the foil at any points. And I'll go over again with my medium-sized ball tool. Again, being careful not to go too deep, basically. And at this point I decided to add a bit of texture like so, but in hindsight I didn't really need to do this. So I'm just going to create some detail for the top. So I've got some teeny tiny little kind of leaf shapes in a kind of murky yellow really. So I need to make basically a flower shape at the top. And I'll pop on some slightly darker green clay. And I've got some really nice kind of bronze clay here. It's Fimo Effects, but you can use any kind of colour that you have really. And with my small size ball tool, I'm just going to add some detail like so. And as I mentioned before, I wasn't really happy with the detail here, so I just went over with the wet wipe again to try and smoothen it a little. I should have done it before I added the detail at the top though, but oh well. So there we go, that's looking a lot more like a pods. Kind of decorative though, but I think it adds to the charm. So my poppy and my poppy seed pod are all done, so I need to bake them. And as I can't place them directly onto a baking sheet, I just pop them into a cup with a cup on top just to ensure that they, don't fall out while they're baking. So at this point, you'll need to refer to your own brand of Polymer Clay's baking instructions. And now my poppy and my poppy seed pod are all baked and cooled. Just going to add on some colour to the stalks, just with a Pitt's artist pen here. It's permanent ink, but if you prefer you could always use some acrylic paint or such like. And now they're done, I just want to add some more detail to the pods actually. So I've got a really nice kind of blue colour here, and I'm just adding it to the indentations on the pods, just to add a bit more kind of visual interest really, because I think it looks a little flat. And here they are, all done, and considering I've just kind of made them up as I've gone along really, I'm pretty happy with these. So give it a like if you got this far, and I'll see you again soon. Take care, bye bye.